Here we are. Good morning, everyone. It's PK with Out of the Box. Doing the show here still. We're here in, my wife and I are here in Bulgaria, in Eastern Europe. We're here on vacation till June 30th. Of course, it's very cold outside. We're missing our Florida warm weather, but we're going to get right to it. The name of the show for Out of the Box today is, what are the best tips on how to trade that crude? Let me give you a little background. I'm PK with Out of the Box, and I'm 62. I started in 1982 at 22 years old in the gold and silver. I worked for a guy who made a bunch of money in the Hunt Brothers run-up in the late 70s. Watched him lose everything in 6 months, bought it all the way down, never would go short. But I was hooked, as you can imagine. I never saw anybody make and lose so much money so quickly. I went over to Bear Stearns, and my father got me a job there for 6 months, and ended up having my own firm for about 3 years. I got into the brokerage business. I always wanted to be a hedge fund manager. Those days they called it a commodity trading advisor, but I got the wrong direction, so I've just been a trader, professional trader, most of my life, 35 years. So I got back in the game in 2007 when the technology, with the internet came into play. I moved to Eastern Europe, moved to Bulgaria in 2004, and I finally wanted to get back in, opened up with the trade station. I've been with them ever since. And of course, my whole time frame went to 1 to 4 days. And one of the things I specialized in was trading the crude, because all you guys know, all traders, whether you're a day trader, short term, I'm a short term swing trader, 1 to 4 days. I do have some day trades. Crude is one of the six things I follow. I've been trading really for the last 14 years. And so I want to give you some of the tips that you're not going to hear. Real simple things that you can use that are useful from somebody who's really been around. Because remember, before the internet came into play, we used to go over the phone, call down to the floor, hold positions for 2 weeks. You weren't able to change your stop. Commissions were very high. So the whole thing changed. I can even make an argument that trading was actually easier back when I was younger, back in the day, because you're forced to keep it. Here we push the button, we're so tempted. But anyway, so let me just tell you what the tips are for trading the crude, since I've got so much experience trading that crude. Number one, trade what you see, not what you think. Every time I think about it, I think of it. You think of what direction you want to go. You guys know you can always talk yourself into, I think it's going up, I think it's going down. But usually if you just focus on what you see, every time I think too much, I end up losing. Yeah, once in a while, some people say trade from the gut. Well, trading, especially in the crude or anything volatile, the crude, the NASDAQ futures, things that can really move. It's a real balance between trading from your gut, trading how you feel. I would say the gut feeling comes to how big to bet. When you really love it, maybe you can bet a little bigger. So number one, of course, is trade what you see. Tip number two, always place an emergency stop. I know most of us, of course, we're always afraid to put those short-term short stops in, because we know, I actually did a video about this, that they are out there to always run down our stops, and it happens. But you really can't afford to sit there and watch it, because as all of you know, this thing can move so quickly. Some news event, and I'm not talking about the crude report on the Wednesday. Something can happen, and it can really get away from you faster than you can push that button. You just get stuck. As you know, I've done another video about the problems of trading, which is like this, you're like a deer in the headlights, and you don't want that to happen, especially us crude traders, because you really can move quickly, as all of us know. So I always like to put an emergency stop very far away, just in case that disaster, so I don't have to use a short-term stop, and I can, remember, the trading, especially in the crude, is about being able to blow yourself out. This is when you're wrong. The same thing, cut your losses short, let your profits ride, but it's not easily done when you're sitting in front of that screen. You would think even me, after all these years, it becomes easier. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any easier. What gets easier is your confidence of getting in. But once you're in, depending on your character, your emotions, this is what takes over your result. In terms of what's going to happen after you get in. It's all about that. So let's get back to it. Number 3 is, again, I did another video of this. You want to hold those winners longer, meaning that I go for 8 to 1, 10 to 1. I try to go even for more. Now, if you're a day trader, and still you could make 6, 7, 8 to 1. The point I'm making is that all the trading books and all the we all know, when you think, well, how much, they say, PK, how much should I go for? What's that number? 2 to 1, 3 to 1. You do your metrics, which I think you should rip that stuff out. Forget those metrics, average win per trade, average loss per trade. These things really are not going to help you. Believe me, they're not going to help you. What's going to help you is having that discipline to the downside to blow yourself out of those trades as fast as you can. You're better off making 5 tries if you're convinced, and losing a small amount, then letting it go against you, and then all of a sudden, doubling down, adding. I don't have to go into all the mistakes. I did this in another video. You don't want to get there, but the point is, you need to hold those winners longer, because 3 to 1, I'm telling you from experience, you're not going to make enough money over the long run. Yes, you can we all have streaks for day after day or week after week, or winning and winning, but then all of a sudden we make some mistakes, you get into a cold spot, you lose 3 in a row, you lose your confidence, and the trade is notorious because of the volatility. That's why we're here trading the crude, for making you, to suck you in to make more trades, to break your discipline. Anytime you're seeing these things moving around, it's really a trap for us emotionally. So hold those winners longer. Really, you'll see. It's the only way you can really pull up. You really want to be right. And I don't care if you're trying to make it in a day, or in my case, 1 to 4 days. This changed everything for me 5 years ago. I can't tell you enough. And number 4 is another thing I did speak in the other video, and it very much hugely applies to trading the crude oil, which is, don't trail that stop. It sounds good. The books show the perfect things. Unless you get the perfect move straight up, green, or the waterfall straight down, or a straight up move, most of the time this doesn't happen. You all know it. And trailing that stop, you're never going to make that big move. It's just too good to be true to protect your profit and let it ride. There's other techniques. People scale out. They do multiple contracts. Of course, I don't think this is right. Also, I think the bottom line, you need to hold these. And if you don't, all of a sudden, if you're up some large amount, get out, dump the whole thing, take it. Especially when you make it quickly. Right? But I'm not talking about 3 to 1. Let's see you make 7, 8 to 1 quickly. Then dump the whole thing if you're nervous. But don't think you can move that stop up and protect your profits so you can watch it. Because what's going to happen. Comes down, takes you out, and takes off without you, or vice versa if you're short. So forget about that. Don't do it. Number 5. Let's see, I only got 2 more here. Hang with me. It's 9 minutes. I do ramble on. As I said, you want to throw out the losers as ASAP, as soon as possible. Sounds easy, not easy to do, especially the more trades you make, it becomes harder and harder to do. So our ego gets in the way. And again, especially with the crude, you blow yourself out, and 2 seconds later it comes back, you said, God, I could have been even if it went for me. Look, there's no perfect strategy. There's no perfect market. I've been doing this, trust me, 35 years. there's no one, everybody has their market. This is my point. So, but either way, no matter what type of trader you are in this crude, you got to be able to throw your losers as fast as possible. You're never going to last in the long run. And when I say the long run, I'm telling you 3 years, 5 years. All of us can be lucky for a year. In fact, I can make an argument it's a kiss of death. You start making money the first year because you'll start betting bigger, and you've not developed the skills on how to blow yourself out. Because believe me, PK is telling you the skill is not getting in. The skill is handling it, being able to blow yourself on the downside, and not letting it affect you mentally. Especially after you lose 3 in a row. I found this is to be the real number. And the last thing is pretty simple, which is to keep it simple. You want to make this trading as simple as possible. Again, I've done another video on trading is not a science project. We're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this too, because you say, PK, I want to hold my discipline. You know, you use a limit order, if it hits this line, or a reversal, or a crossover, whatever technique you're using to get yourself in these trades. You got to have some flexibility, you know, and you can say, but PK, I'm breaking my discipline. Well, I think it's okay to do this, to get in a little early, whatever it may be. This is not the difference, I'm telling you, between winning and losing. The difference between winning and losing after a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, a year is how you handle yourself to the downside. Don't ever forget that. And believe me, especially the crude, it's happened to me. It happened to me. It happens to all of us. We know that crude can get away from you, and quickly, faster than you can react. Even if you say, I'm going to jump out of market. You know, that 30-second, 1 minute hesitation can really cost you much more than you want to risk. And then I'll just I have to make one note here for you day traders, right? The thing with the day trading is Pete, I get that asked all the time. They say, okay, PK, I'm a day trader in the crude. Is there a best time? What's the best time to trade, or a best day? I'll tell you, yes, there is. There's one, it's 1 day a week. It's on Wednesday around the crude report, because every Wednesday, that number, as you see, you want this volatility, especially for when you're a day trader. And to me, this is the day you really want to put all your energy in and really be fresh for that. When that crude report comes out, this is where you can really make a lot of money. Now, is it every Wednesday you can? Of course not. I follow this very carefully, the crude report, and what you're looking for is what is way better than expected or much worse than expected. And what we're looking for is the reaction to the news. This gives us the clues on what direction to trade. Again, I think I've done a whole video about trading the news, so I'm trying to help you guys, because again, the motive for me, I don't sell a newsletter, I don't sell a trading service. I'm doing this because I dreamed that my father had helped me, give me all these tips. I come from a successful family. I had to learn everything the hard way. And yes, okay, it's made me tough, but I burned a lot of nerves. I'm all gray. Look at me. I'm an old goat. I'm 62. It's over for me. I'm just fortunate enough that I kept myself together. Go to the fitness. I got a young wife. I've lived in Europe for 12 years, Bulgarian wife, so I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful. But I really could have used a lot. I could have gotten a lot of tips when I was your age, 20s, late 20s, that really could have saved me a lot of money and especially nerves, because it's the nerves, so it's the mental thing that takes a toll on you as you get older. When you guys are young, it's no big deal. We're full of confidence, and that's what we're at the crude. We're in the right place. The crude. Also, I recommend if you want to trade short term, going for the NASDAQ, anything that moves quickly. But boy, you better have the skills to be able to blow yourself out on the downside, or else you're going to blow all your money. So anyway, again, you can always feel free. The funny part is, I get plenty of people that write me on the Facebook on the questions, yet they won't comment on my out of the box page. Maybe they're ashamed or this or that. I'm happy to help. I don't sell anything. As I said, it makes me feel good. I love doing these live videos. I know I'm very low tech. I could care less, but I think I really have a lot to offer. Just like I wish somebody that was reversed, I wish I was you and somebody who was 60 years old telling me you've been trading the crude for 15 years and been in the business trading for over 35 years. That's it. PK, 15 minutes. I'm out of here. I got to face the day here in Europe. It's freezing outside. I'm pissed off about the whole thing. Wish everyone a good day. Ciao, everybody.